Matthew says they were discussing which of them would be the greatest in the kingdom. Now, we don't get the discussion recorded here, but look, it's not that hard to figure out. I mean, just think about it for a minute. How would you have approached a conversation like this? Can we imagine how that conversation might have gone? I like to think Peter probably said, well, Jesus called me the rock. So, I think I'm going to be the greatest in the kingdom. At which point I imagine James maybe responding, Jesus meant that you're as dumb as a rock, Peter. I'm going to be greatest in the kingdom. And then, of course, at that point, you got John saying, but I'm the one whom Jesus loved. I'm going to be greatest in the kingdom, right? I mean, I don't know what they were really saying, but it had to be something like, I'm the oldest, I'm the strongest, I'm the most courageous. Whatever they were saying, we know by Jesus' response that they were measuring greatness in terms of things like personal power, personal achievement, personal status, the amount of hard work they give Jesus, something like that, right? That is a very human way of thinking about honor. In our way of thinking about honor, whoever obtains the most accolades in this world will be, we assume, the one God will honor the most in the next. It's just the way we're wired to think. But God's ways are not man's ways. And Jesus gives you here the way that God will measure greatness. When we read in Mark 9:35, he says, the one who desires to be first in the kingdom must seek to be last in this world and the servant of everyone. Now look, the terms first and last, I think it's obvious what they mean. They refer to worldly achievement, worldly status, worldly honor, and you know exactly what it means to be first in this world, don't you? We all do. In fact, doesn't the world teach us from a very young age the value of being first, receiving the most recognition, obtaining the most possessions, wielding the most power, being the best in every way possible? Isn't that being first in the world? From your earliest years, aren't you told be first in your class, first to raise your hand with the answer, first to be picked for the kickball team out in the recess period, right? Those are things that show honor. When you get out of school, you want to be first to be promoted, first to have your private office, first to make vice president, whatever the goal is. In general, everyone wants to be first and have the most. First in line, first with the new phone, first to see the new movie, first to do everything that people do. In fact, don't we celebrate the people who have the most likes on Instagram, the most views on YouTube, the most tools, the most shoes, the most attention at the party, the most sales awards? You're impressed by the biggest truck, the most expensive purse, the skinniest waist, the biggest biceps, etc., etc., etc. And that's just my list. Except for the purse part. Honestly, it's just pride. It's just ego. It's me, me, me. And it's the way the world assigns value and bestows honor. And in the words of Solomon, it's all vanity. But Jesus says, if you want to be first in the kingdom, you're going to have to live by a different standard now. And let me clarify, friends, you do want to be first in the kingdom. Because if there's ever a place to be first, it's that place. Being first in the kingdom will mean receiving the best of what God has to offer. And here's the kicker, you get to enjoy it in a guilt-free, sin-free environment, in a place where no one can take it, in a place where nothing will destroy it, and you get to have it for 1,000 years plus. If you think being first in this fallen, corrupt world is worth giving everything for, wait till you see what it's like to be first in the kingdom. But here's the most interesting thing about this formula. What do you think is easier, to be first in this world or to be last? What takes more effort? What takes more time? Do you realize it's harder to be first in line than it is to be last? It's harder to pursue the American dream than it is to let go of it, at least to some degree. The point I'm making here is Jesus is not asking you to do the hard thing, not in relative terms. He's actually asking you to do the easy thing.